Cuckoos are medium-sized birds, ranging from small species like the little bronze cuckoo, to larger birds such as the giant kua of Madagascar and the channel-billed cuckoo, the largest parasitic species. These birds exhibit zygodactyl feet, with 2 toes pointing forward and 2 backward. Cuckoos are divided into arboreal species, which are slender with short legs, and terrestrial species, which are bulkier with longer legs. They typically have long tails for balance and varying wing shapes based on lifestyle, with migratory species having long wings for direct flight, and terrestrial ones having shorter wings. The family includes different subfamilies. The Cuculiformes are parasitic cuckoos, mostly found in the Old World, with slender bodies and long wings. The Phoenicopheninae are non-parasitic and more terrestrial, including kuas, malkohas, and ground cuckoos. Another subfamily, the Coccizinae, comprises long-tailed arboreal species. Cuckoos display a variety of plumage, from cryptic to bright and iridescent, especially in parasitic species. Some exhibit plumage that mimics birds of prey to alarm potential hosts. Sexual dimorphism is rare but more common in parasitic cuckoos. Cuckoos are found worldwide, except in Antarctica and a few regions. Their habitats are diverse, ranging from tropical forests to arid deserts. Many cuckoo species are migratory, with some making long-distance flights, like the yellow-billed cuckoo flying 4,000 kilometers non-stop across the Caribbean. In contrast, others are sedentary or partial migrants. Cuckoos are generally solitary and insectivorous, feeding on large insects and caterpillars. Some species also consume small vertebrates, while a few, like the koel, feed mainly on fruit. Parasitic cuckoos engage in brood parasitism, laying their eggs in the nests of other birds. These cuckoo chicks often hatch earlier and outcompete the host's offspring. Some parasitic cuckoos have evolved to mimic host eggs, while others destroy the host's clutch if their eggs are rejected. Cuckoo calls are simple yet distinctive, often used for territory marking and mate attraction. These calls are innate rather than learned, as evidenced by the consistency across large ranges. Many species call at night despite being diurnal, and the family's name originates from the characteristic call of the common cuckoo. The family Cuculidae was introduced by English zoologist William Elford Leach in a guide to the contents of the British Museum published in 1819. Very little fossil record of cuckoos has been found, and their evolutionary history remains unclear. Dynamopterus was an Oligocene genus of large cuckoo, though it may have been related to Caryopsis instead. A 2014 genome analysis by Eric Jarvis and collaborators found a clade of birds that contains the orders cuckoos, turacos, and bustards. Crotophagony is notable for the development of cooperative breeding where several females lay eggs in a communal nest. It contains the 3 anise and the gira cuckoo. Among the anise, there is considerable variation in nesting habits. One species, the greater ani, lays 2 or 3 eggs, while the groove-billed ani lays 7. However, the smooth-billed ani will share one nest between several females, with up to 29 eggs in one nest. The striped cuckoo eats large insects, often taken off the ground. This is a solitary and fairly shy species which tends to keep to the cover of bushes, although it will sing from more open perches. Dromaeococcix is a genus of uncommon to rare cuckoos found in forests and woodlands of the Neotropics. While rarely seen, both species are very vocal. They have strikingly graduated tails and are among the few cuckoos of the Americas that are brood parasites. The lesser ground cuckoo feeds on insects captured while walking on the ground or picked from vegetation with short leaps. Details of its diet are lacking. It has a very large range and an estimated population between 50,000 and 500,000 mature individuals, though the latter is believed to be decreasing. The roadrunners are two species of fast-running ground cuckoos with long tails and crests. They are found in the southwestern and south-central United States, Mexico, and Central America, usually in the desert. Although capable of flight, roadrunners generally run away from predators. On the ground, some have been measured at 30 kilometers per hour. Neomorphous is a genus of terrestrial cuckoos in the family Cuculidae. Despite their relatively large size, they are highly inconspicuous and rarely seen. They are restricted to the humid primary forests in the neotropics, and despite their similar looks, not closely related to the Asian ground cuckoos of the genus Carpococcyx. The genus Centropus was introduced in 1811 by the German zoologist Johann Carl Wilhelm Illiger. The type species was subsequently designated as the Senegal cuckoo by George Robert Gray in 1840. The genus name combines the ancient Greek kentron meaning spur or spike with pos meaning foot. Many cuckoos have a long claw on their hind toe. The feet have minute spurs, and this is responsible for the German term for cuckoo Sporenkukuk. The common name is perhaps derived from the French cuckoo and alouette, for the long lark-like claw. The length of the claw can be about 68 to 76% of the tarsus length in the African black cuckoo and lesser cuckoo. Only the short-toed cuckoo is an exception, with the hallux claw of only 23% of the tarsus length. Thread-like feather structures, elongated sheaths of the growing feathers that are sometimes termed trichoptils, are found on the head and neck of hatchlings and can be as long as 20 mm. Many are opportunistic predators. Centropus phasianus is known to attack birds caught in mist nets, while white-browed cuckoos are attracted to smoke from grass fires where they forage for insects and small mammals escaping from the fire. Cuckoos generally make nests inside dense vegetation, and they usually have the top covered, but some species have the top open. Pheasant cuckoo, greater cuckoo, and Madagascar cuckoo sometimes build an open nest, while some species always build open nests. Carpococcyx species are ground cuckoos. They are found in Indonesia. They are restricted to humid forest and are threatened by habitat loss. Cuckoos are large, mostly terrestrial birds of the cuckoo family, endemic to the island of Madagascar. They are reminiscent of African turacos when walking along tree branches, and they likewise feature brightly colored bare skin around the eyes. Some resemble cuckoos in their habit of clambering through jungle while foraging, while the arboreal species move between tree canopies with gliding flight. 4 species have been recorded in rainforests while the remaining 6 are found in the dry forests of western and southern Madagascar. They have large feet, with a reversible third toe like all cuckoos. Their long tibia suggests a relationship with the Carpococcyx ground cuckoos of Asia, a genus with similar nestlings. Consequently, they are sometimes united in the subfamily Queenie. Cuckoos build their own nests and lay white eggs. Cuckoo's calls are a short series of evenly spaced notes, which are sometimes answered by other individuals. Raffles Malkoha might not even be very closely related to the true Malkohas, but form a very basal lineage of cuckoos. In any case, its placement in a monotypic genus Rhinortha is well warranted. Suthmachares is a genus of 2 species of cuckoos in the family Cuculidae. The 2 species were once treated as a single species, known as the yellowbill. Both species are found in evergreen forest in Africa. Although they are cuckoos, they are not brood parasites. This indicates that they do not lay their eggs in the nests of other bird species. Circaear Malkoha forage singly or in pairs, mainly on or close to the ground, creeping between grasses and bushes, often on rocky habitats where they feed on small lizards, insects, and sometimes berries and seeds. They are very silent and the sexes are identical in plumage. The genus Zanclostomus was introduced in 1837 by the English naturalist William Swainson to accommodate the red-billed Malkoha. Phoenicophaeus are found in nearly half of the mixed-species foraging flocks in the Sinharaja area. Most of the individuals of red-faced Malkohas which participate in the mixed-species bird flocks tend to prefer in the front of the flock. There is a high probability to see this cryptic bird in the flock if you observe the front half of the flock. The red-faced Malkoha takes a variety of insects including caterpillars, giant stick insects, mantises, and small vertebrates such as lizard. It occasionally may eat berries, but this needs confirmation. Unlike most cuckoos, this is a quiet species, making only the odd soft grunt. Dactylophus feed on insects, especially favoring caterpillars and small mammals, reptiles, and amphibians. Forages in the lower levels and likes climbing vines and tangles. Usually observed alone or in small groups. Not much information on breeding data, but believed to breed from May to June. A nest was found to have 3 eggs, but not enough data to assume clutch size. The yellow-billed Malkoha is endemic to Sulawesi. Its natural habitat is subtropical or tropical moist lowland forests. It often follows macaques. Clamader cuckoos are found in warmer parts of southern Europe and Asia, and in Africa south of the Sahara Desert. These are birds of warm open scrubby habitats, but some species are at least partially migratory, leaving for warmer and wetter areas in winter. These are large cuckoos, all at least 33 centimeters long, with broad chestnut wings and long narrow tails. They are strikingly patterned with black, white, and brown plumage. All the clamader cuckoos are brood parasites, which lay a single egg in the nests of medium-sized hosts, such as magpies, starlings, shrikes, laughing thrushes, bulbuls, and babblers, depending on location. Unlike the common cuckoo, neither the hen nor the hatched chick of clamader species evict the host's eggs, but the host's young often die because they cannot compete successfully with the cuckoo for food. Formerly, Coccycua were divided among Incoccyzus and Piaia, where the former were assigned to Micrococcyx and only the latter to Coccycua. Following the discovery that they form a monophyletic lineage equidistant to both related genera, Coccycua has been revalidated. Piaia is a small genus of relatively large and long-tailed cuckoos, which occur in Mexico, Central America, and South America. Coccyzus are of variable size with slender bodies, long tails, and strong legs. Many have black and white undertail patterns. They occur in a variety of forests, woodlands, or mangroves. These cuckoos, unlike many Old World species, build their own nests in trees and lay 2 or more eggs. Yellow-billed and black-billed cuckoos occasionally lay eggs in the nests of other birds, but are not obligate brood parasites like the common cuckoo of Eurasia. Northern species such as yellow-billed and black-billed cuckoos are strong migrants, wintering in Central or South America, and occasionally wander to Western Europe as rare vagrants, but the tropical CUCKOOS cuckoos are mainly sedentary. These are vocal species when breeding, with persistent and loud calls. They feed on large insects such as cicadas, wasps, and caterpillars. Lizard cuckoos are large and powerful species, and mainly take vertebrate prey, especially, as the name implies, lizards. The thick-billed cuckoo is monotypic within the genus Pachycoccix. It can easily be distinguished from other brood parasitic cuckoo species by its very thick bill, which is shaped in a rather hawk-like fashion. Dwarf koel is found in New Guinea, where its natural habitat is subtropical or tropical moist lowland forests. Its closest relatives are the Eudinamis. The female koel's plumage is banded and speckled in shades of brown. The evolutionary function is to camouflage her approach to her host's nest and enable her brood parasitism to go undetected. Noisy miner and wattlebirds have been observed feeding their fledglings. The male's sexually dimorphic plumage is black, like a raven. They are of a similar size to ravens and are known to have territories that overlap with ravens. They have also been observed being mobbed by noisy miners and wattlebirds in the same way as ravens are. The male koel may be a raven mimic enabling the female to approach the host's nest, either deliberately or opportunistically, while the host flock is engaged in mobbing the male. Channel-billed cuckoo is the largest brood parasite in the world, and the largest cuckoo. It is often shy, remaining hidden in tree canopies feeding on fruit and most active in early morning and evening. Its loud raucous call makes it more often heard than seen. Pacific long-tailed cuckoo, a migratory bird that spends spring and summer in New Zealand, its only breeding place, and spends winter in the Pacific Islands. It is a brood parasite. Like most cuckoos, the African emerald cuckoo is a brood parasite. Female African emerald cuckoos lay eggs in the nests of other bird species. A female cuckoo can lay between 19 and 25 eggs on average per breeding season. The breeding season occurs during the rainy seasons, generally during the months between September and March. Even though the cuckoos do not need territory to feed fledglings, male African emerald cuckoos still maintain territories to display themselves to potential mates. One reason for the cuckoo eggs hatching sooner is that, after the egg is fully formed, the female cuckoo holds it in her oviduct for another 24 hours prior to laying. This means that the egg has already had 24 hours of internal incubation. Furthermore, the cuckoo's internal temperature is 3 to 4 degrees Celsius higher than the temperature at which the egg is incubated in the nest, and the higher temperature means that the egg incubates faster, so at the time it is laid, the egg has already had the equivalent of 30 hours incubation in a nest. 2 cognitive mechanisms help hosts distinguish parasitic eggs from their own: the true recognition hypothesis, where hosts compare eggs to an internal template, and the discordancy hypothesis, where hosts identify eggs that differ from the majority. Recent research suggests that both mechanisms likely work together, compensating for each other's limitations in egg discrimination. Cacomanthes is from the ancient Greek meaning, prophet of evil. Most species have a round nostril and are mainly in brown and gray colors. The tails are graduated and barred. The bars are transverse in Soneraceae and oblique in all others. The plaintive cuckoo inhabits forest edge, open woodland, scrub, grassland, farmland, parks, and gardens. It feeds on invertebrates. It is normally solitary and is often difficult to see. It is a brood parasite, laying its eggs in the nests of cisticolas, prinias, and tailorbirds. The eggs are similar to those of the host species but are larger. Small birds often mob the cuckoo to drive it away from their nests. pallid cuckoo is around 30 centimeters in size, with distinctive markings such as a dark bill, a dark eye with a gold eye ring and olive-gray feet which differentiate it from other cuckoos. White-crowned cuckoo was formerly placed in the genus Cacomanthes but is now the only species placed in the genus Caliecthrus. It is found in New Guinea and neighboring Salawati Island. Cerniculus cuckoos inhabit the canopy and middle story of lowland forest where it feeds on insects. They are usually shy and solitary. Nothing is known about their breeding habits, nest and fledgling. Drongo cuckoos are recognizable by their glossy blue to purple or greenish-black plumage, their forked tail with slight narrow white bars, their white patch at the base of the feathers and their thin horizontal white stripe in the underwing that is only seen when in flight. According to the International Union for Conservation of Nature Red List, this species is categorized as least concern. However, they are being traded locally as pets and hunted for food. The dusky long-tailed cuckoo is often found in the undergrowth or mid-canopy. It eats caterpillars, ants, beetles, spiders, snails and seeds and joins mixed-species foraging flocks. The head, nape and upper parts are dark brown, washed sooty gray and with a purple-blue iridescence. The wings are dark brown, with buff and white spots. The underparts are white, with blackish-brown bars, and the vent is buff. The tail is long and graduated. The eyes are dark brown, the beak is greenish-black and the feet are yellow. Olive long-tailed cuckoos do not flock in groups. Hawk cuckoos are brood parasites and recorded hosts include the white-rumped shama and the gray-headed canary flycatcher. These cuckoo eats insects and small fruits. Mustached hawk cuckoo has been seen in mixed-species foraging flocks. It is usually found in thick canopy. At first glance they can be mistaken for a hawk. When flying they use a flap and glide style that resembles that of sparrowhawks, and flying upwards and landing on a perch they shake their tails from side to side. Many small birds and squirrels raise the alarm just as they would in the presence of a hawk. The Hodgson's hawk cuckoo displays gape-colored patches of skin under its wing to simulate additional gapes. The strategy appears to increase the provisioning rate. This is in contrast to other species of cuckoo which increase the rapidity of high-pitched hunger calls to increase the provisioning rate. Cuculus is a genus of cuckoos which has representatives in most of the Old World, although the greatest diversity is in tropical southern and southeastern Asia. These birds are of variable size with slender bodies, long tails, and strong legs. Most occur in open forests, but some prefer more open country. Several species are migratory. These are vocal species, with persistent and loud calls. They feed on large insects, with hairy caterpillars, which are distasteful to many birds, being a speciality. One or two species will also take some fruit. Cuculus cuckoos are brood parasites, that is, they lay a single egg in the nests of various passerine hosts. The best-known example is the European common cuckoo. The female cuckoo in each case replaces one of the host's eggs with one of her own. The cuckoo egg hatches earlier than the host's, and the chick grows faster. In most cases the cuckoo chick evicts the eggs or young of the host species. Cuculus species lay colored eggs to match those of their passerine hosts. Female cuckoos specialize in a particular host species and lay eggs that closely resemble the eggs of that host. The St. Helena cuckoo, it was confirmed to have previously existed by a single humerus. Compared to other cuckoos, it was relatively small, and it probably lived in forests on the island of St. Helena. Its extinction was a result of deforestation on the island in the 18th century.